Good afternoon and welcome to Cricklefield for this afternoon's Essex Senior League game between Ilford and Woodford Town. I'm Finley Chung. We'll jump into what Adam Peake has to say before the game in a minute, but before we get into that, we'll see what the team is for Ilford today. In goal we have Josh Blackburn. Across the back four is Caleb Steele, Nasir Ishanzadeh, Gerald Cobbler, Steve Sylvester Ajuja, Abdullah Sarr, Freddie Ajimang, Jamal Zotzi, Larry Akambi, Dimi Christou and Yemi Adelani all making up the starting 11, with the substitutes bench being Glenn Ogan, Robel Grant, George Avart, Bailey Hossack and Ian Vara. 3 new signings on the bench there for Ilford today. Now let's jump into Adam Peake and his pre-match questions to see what he has to say before today's game.
Adam, first, can you talk us through the change you made from last Saturday's team?
OP is not available today, and we've just made a defensive change at the back. Nasir comes back in, just in the full-back area because we've lost our left back, so he's our only naturally left-footed player, so he's back in the side. But they're 2 enforced changes, which we would have made some changes today after the performance Saturday, but as I think I said last week, the squad numbers are now thin. We've got 5 first teamers out today and probably for the next couple of weeks due to injury, so we're having to make some changes that are forced really.
You touched on last Saturday, also we're coming back to the term again of consistency. Once again we're looking into a result where we won't be taking away the 3 points. How important is it for us to now find this game and try and find that consistency?
We've it's very difficult again to put your finger on it because last Saturday we were cruising the game 2-0 up. A bad refereeing decision changed the game, but then just after that we didn't respond well enough, and keep saying the same thing. Individual mistakes have cost us last week. We had a Zoom call last Monday to analyse the last 3 or 4 games because we ain't been able to train due to midweek games. The boys we know what the boys can do. It's when they cross the line they've got to be able to cut out the mistakes and make sure that they can do the right things in the right areas. And look, today doesn't get any easier. Although they haven't won a game this season, they need the points, and they're not going to come here and be a walkover. So we've got to be at our best today, and we've got to make sure that we do the right things across the park and not just turn up for 20 minutes or half an hour and get complacent. So the boys fully understand that we've got to start picking up some points.
Obviously Wednesday's game was cancelled, which gave the team the first time this season a week between their 2 games. Do you think that'll be helpful today?
It would have been if we could have called it off earlier, because we could have called a training session, but unfortunately we couldn't. So boys needed a rest, but the games are coming thick and fast. So I think next week we play midweek again, and then the following week will be the first weekday we've had off, where we will actually be able to put on a session. We don't know. Hopefully the boys are fresh. They've not played Wednesday, a week off, so they should be feeling up for it and ready to go. They know what's expected. It's down to those boys when they cross the line. We can only say what we feel they need to improve on, but the boys have got to do it when they cross the line.
Good afternoon and welcome to Cricklefield Stadium for this Essex Senior League game between Ilford and Woodford Town. I'm Finley Chung. I've got Kieran alongside me again on comms this week. How are we, Kieran?
I'm doing good, Finn. How are you?
I'm not bad, mate. Not bad at all.
It's back on the way here. He takes a long throw down the line for Ilford. It's intercepted well by the Woodford defender. Cobbler looks to press the ball. Balls out wide to Ishanzadeh. Flicked on by Christou. Fred Ajimang with the ball.
That's a really good reverse ball, actually.
He looks to find Adelani in the middle. I'd have to agree with you there, Finn. As the visitors gets back underway now. He plays short to the defender. Plays it through into midfield. Looks for a long ball up onto the right wing. It's brought down well by the Woodford player. Woodford are looking to have their first opportunity of the game as they thread through their striker. We just can't get a control on that ball. Missed it. Visitors once again look to try and play it out from the back.
They look to be going down that left-hand side, and he's going to get in here. Winger. That's not a bad ball, to be fair. And
good.
Steve,
Visitors look to take the corner now. It's fizzed in.
Low and Christou away.
Cleared by
At the near post. Against Cockfost's man Benfleet. They only conceded 2 goals, 1 in each game. So.
Ilford look to attack now. It's Dimi Christou. He's on the edge of the box. He lines up a shot and he's right, put it into the top corner. Dimi Christou, about 22 yards out. He hits that nicely right into the top left corner. And
That's what he can do. That is what
that's
he can
Ilford
do.
1, Woodford 0.
You know, relieve the pressure that we put in on us in the early stages.
I think Demi Christie deserves that. His performances with person you've seen in real life over the last couple of weeks. One thing he should be missing was a nice goal like that, and now he's got it. Silford look to launch another attack now. Still carries the ball and he's taken out by the Woodford number 8.
He might take.
If he shoots from here, it'll be goal of the season. But he looks to
Clipped it
thread
in, to be
in.
fair.
It's handled well by the Woodford goalkeeper, who has launched the ball. He is just throwing it from his own box over the halfway line.
Fair play to him. That was one hell of a throw, isn't it? And Abdoulaye Sow, starts to form a bit of a half partnership. He's in.
Yeah,
Adalani's in.
He's got to beat him to defender,
Oh,
and it goes underneath the goalkeeper to make it 2-0.
There we go. Yeah, Adalani.
Keeper just dives on
He
over the top of
scores goals. It's what he does. And that's a really good finish, to be fair. Stride onto it.
Yeah.
He held off his man really well. You back him to score, don't you, from there?
It's fizzed into the box. Evades their striker, but also evades all the off defence. He swung in for a third time.
Strong appeals.
Would have been a very soft penalty if given.
Strong appeals from Woodford, to be fair. 1-0, and that could easily happen again here today if Ilford take their foot off the accelerator, which we'll be hoping doesn't happen.
Just have to trust us that Demi is preparing to beat
We've seen it
now.
flick wide.
That's a goal kick for the visitors.
Played by Ilford and Demi there. See onto that. Has he put a thread through here? Swept forward over to the direction of Canby and Adalani. And he's held that up really well as Larry.
Christie gets in the ball again. He finds Adalani,
He's in.
who slices the ball across to Agyemang, and it's offside given by the linesman. And the goal kick off the pitch. Now doing well to hold the ball up as the visitors look to find the ball at the back post, doing a lot of space. He's popped up as he's got to here, and he's hammered it over. And that's plays it long. Chested down by Canby.
And he's done quite well, the winger, to get out of that, and he's
It's been well by the Woodford 7.
midfielder in a bit of space.
It's a bit of quick play here. But straight.
The Ilford front man seemed to be on his toes there. And he couldn't quite get to that ball. That was worked quite well by the visitors. They worked the ball from left one, Steve Sylvester as usual, and the Woodford front man were down injured. There's a free pass. For it, to be
It's
fair.
hit it well, but the wind's caught it. It's down out in the middle of the pitch again.
Woodford are looking to build up another move, and there's another ball in, dropped in down the left. It's like a mistake. I think it's just going to run out. If it runs out for an Ilford throw, it's going to be another long throw again, which the long throw short will make it tie into the Woodford half.
And now we've got a
So
third.
is it another one? Third time lucky.
You never know, we might get up to the corner flag by the end of this half. Steve again, another throw.
That's a better throw, more central into the pitch, that one.
Met by a Canby.
It bounced around.
Red card.
Can't punch around the pass.
It's gone out for a Woodford throw.
That's 4 throws in what?
A minute.
About 30 seconds a minute, yeah. As Fred's nicked that back. And he just overruns it, and the Woodford player challenges him quite well. That's a really good take there by the Woodford wide man. And the pass takes Nasir Ishanzadeh out of the game here, and he knocks it back to the wide man.
Demi Christie's
Demi's
now
got to
got the
get
ball.
there, and he does.
Plays it to
Adalani holds it
Adalani.
up. And that'll be a ball down the line from Jamal to Demi. And we'll just be looking to get into half time. We're at 2-0 up.
Much space, another defended ball by the Woodford. And it's a late challenge.
That's a late one.
very late challenge on Cobbler. Surely number 8, this is the 3rd time now he'll be entering into the books. 3 late challenges in 45 minutes sitting. He has found his way into the book.
He's in the book for that one.
The arms raised. He pings it in. Woodford Town take it away. Number 3 cuts inside. Defended well by Steele. Number 3 still got it. Big defender from Sarr.
Volley. Nass couldn't get that. He's more up than away by Nass, and they just Ilford can't seem to get away. And
Once again,
absolutely blazing today in the absence of
Hit that corner, get our front 3 running. Guess what? If the ball's in there, we squeeze, they can't get out. Yeah? So that's where it is now. Think about the surface, think about it's going to skid, we've got a bit of wind behind us. Alright? Boys, you've got to stand strong now. And you've got to manage the situation when they have a period that they're on top. Stop panicking, stop miskicking it, stop misheading it, go and be demanding. Be confident. Yeah?
But listen, they're going to come at you. You know they're going to come at you.
Boys, no excuse. First 15 minutes, I need high energy, high work rate.
Come on. Hey!
Well, thank you for that, past Finley and Kieran. I am now present, Finley. As there was a few technical issues with doing the live commentary for the second half. As you can see, the conditions, it was fairly rainy, fairly windy. It started raining. People came into the clubhouse where we do film from, and there was, it wasn't really feasible for us to do live commentary in the second half, purely because you wouldn't have heard us. So I thought, you know what, I'll just talk you through everything that happened in the second half, post-match, as Woodford Town whips the ball in here in search to pull one back in this game in the really, really dodgy conditions here at Cricklefield, which had more of an impact on the second half. As you can see there, Fred Adjumang tried to sprint away, but the rain and the wind held the ball up and took his touch off out of play. And Woodford, again, they did look the better side in the second half for the start of it anyway, as another good challenge over the back there from Caleb Steele did come about. He put himself about in the second half with a couple of really good clearing challenges to deny Woodford, and Larry Akambi then went close there for Ilford, as you saw, dragging a low effort wide of the post. It was really one of his first chances of goal in the second half, Larry Akambi, as the ball got worked back out to Christou, and now Adelani picked it up on the left-hand side to play that ball in towards Akambi, and the defender flicked it back round him. And he had to get running again, but the clearance clattered off his own man. Akambi then broke down the wing here to try and draw Ilford forward again, and his ball was in towards Adelani, but he couldn't quite get there before the defender, and the corner was floated in and cleared away by the Woodford Town defence. And when we got into the last half an hour here, the rain got very, very strong. The wind was stronger as well, as Woodford looked to play it out from the back, but it was given away there. It was sort of a rusty clearance, and the ball was played through to Adelani, who had Christou in the middle. And his ball went over towards the far post. Dimi Christou jumped for the first one, won the second one, and it came out to Jamal Zotzi, who you thought could have maybe hit that one first time, tried to loop it over a back round to Freddie Adjumang, but they couldn't quite get to it. And Caleb Steele did have some more defending to do here, as he held up the Cockfosters attack. The Woodford Town attack, I should say, sincere apologies. And Jamal Zotzi got it away. As Ilford were going into the last 25 minutes, sort of not really in much danger of losing their lead. As the ball was pulled across. And a lot of it was like that for Ilford. Low balls into the box that they could easily defend. And it was over. They had a really good chance there, did Woodford. The ball come over to their right midfielder, who put the volley sadly for them, into the side netting. And we had the first of a couple of new signings come on for Ilford today. Glenn Hogan came on for Freddie Adjumang for his Ilford debut. In this match here, as Dimi Christou had a free kick. And Steve Sylvester Ajuja looked like he was about to ghost in there and get a touch on it. But Woodford did come out flying from that free kick. And they did win a throw-in, which ultimately amounted to nothing for the visitors. As the ball went over to Adelani, and it was another Ilford corner, for which Dimi Christou again had the chance to float in. Kind of skewed that one, really, as he was looking for Adelani at the front post. But Ilford were kind of riding out the last 15 minutes of this game here. There wasn't really much going on, as we had another debut for Ilford in this game as well. We had Robel Grant came on for Gerald Cobbler for his Ilford debut in this one as well. With that providing some more steel and some more grit in the midfield in the last sort of 9 minutes, where Woodford, some more fresh legs were needed in the midfield, where Woodford was starting to sort of get the better of Ilford in that exchange, in the midfield exchanges, as Robel Grant kind of just slotted in there into midfield for the Foxes, as Adelani, as Akanbi flicked the ball down the wing to Adelani, and that was Glenn Hogan there pressing, who come on for Freddie Adjumang, who looked pretty solid in the sort of 15 to 20 minute period he got on his debut, as Woodford did have another good chance, a good whipped ball across, but there was no one running around the back for Woodford Town to get onto the end of a really, really inviting whipped-in cross for the visitors. And then we had our third and final change of the afternoon, with Larry Akambi, who he's just returned to the side from injury, put in a really solid shift up front out of another pretty packed week for Ilford, playing on Wednesday against Sawbridge Town and Saturday in the FA Vase against FC Clacton. And they had young George Avart to come on, again for some more fresh legs in the midfield. He's not really featured much in the side since the 5-2 defeat at Hoddesdon Town, George Avart, so he would have been keen to use this chance to sort of stake a claim in the team for Wednesday night's match. And Caleb Steele again sort of slotted seamlessly in at the back, alongside new signing Abdullah Sarr at the back as well, forming a pretty tight defence, it has to be said, in this game, with Bailey Hossack and Nasir Ishanzadeh, the other two defenders, over on the left side. And Josh Blackburn did not really have himself much to do, as you saw in the first half, and as you've seen in this second half as well. And obviously had to be alert with the way the ball would have been slipping around, and his goal kick almost caused confusion for the Woodford Town defence, as it long looping one over towards Adelani, who almost got in there. And Woodford could have played the ball away here now, and then they progressed down the left, their left again. But across came Robel Grant to just tuck the ball into touch and out of the way. And there was another sweeping ball in from Woodford, and Christou cleared it to Adelani, who had the entire freedom of Ilford here to put it past the goalkeeper, but his shot was a bit tame, lacked conviction, and the goalkeeper got down low to save the effort really well. And so it remained Ilford 2, Woodford Town 2, as Josh Blackburn seemed to have been clattered in there as a result of that ball into the box. And Ilford looked like they were just going to wrap the game up, just going to sew the game up, but they were just going to see it out. As Blackburn knocked it forward again, and the ball was headed away over onto his right-hand side. And I think it was penalised for a hard ball there on the Woodford Town man. And Steve Sylvester, you can start to see what he's going to signal to Adelani to do. He wants to ping the ball in behind for him to run. And this is a man who hasn't scored a goal in 5.5 years, Steve Sylvester, and he's just come back to the side recently for injury, and he whips this one forward, and well, I'll let the video do what it needs to do. I still can't believe it. I don't even think Steve Sylvester, as usual, can still believe it himself, to be honest. That did just happen. We've got it on film. Goal of the month for sure. Goal of the season maybe. It doesn't matter if he meant it or not. Steve Sylvester, with a rather embarrassed look on his face, you have to say. And you can see the swerve here. You can see as well from his arm instruction, he wanted to whip it round towards Adelani. He wanted Adelani to make the run. And it was a poor missed header by the centre-back and sent sprawling by the goalkeeper to make it Ilford 3, Woodford Town 0, which is how the game finished here, which the referee will blow up in a minute. And he turned away with a rather embarrassed look on his face, did Steve Sylvester Jr., and why wouldn't you? As Nasir Shanzadeh put the ball long into the channel for Yemi Adelani to chase. And Ilford were maybe looking for a fourth. He had Demi Christou alongside him there, and it did come to Christou, and his original touch wasn't the best and forced him a little bit wide. And then Georgie Avard looked for a ball into the box, which actually wasn't a bad one, and the keeper had to hook it away. To be fair, the goalkeeper had to hook it away. And Ilford then just went to the corner. As Adelani was looking to buy a foul, Avart won the ball there really well, and Woodford kind of bringing the ball away here. The number 8 did really well to get away from the first two challenges there. And it was quite a good counter-attack this from Woodford Town, but much like their entire afternoon really, they never really had a bit of quality in the final third. And that was it. It finished Ilford 3. It did finish Ilford 3, Woodford Town 0. Josh Blackburn had to be at his best to tip that one wide and keep the clean sheet. As there was a melee sort of coming together in the box.
It was probably less convincing than it probably could have been. We had a real slow start to the second half. A little bit sloppy. But you know what, boys? When you don't play great, and you win, you have to accept it, and you take it and you run with it, because you know we've come in here in games over the last few weeks where we've played well and we've lost or drawn. I don't think we was at our best today, boys. We kept a clean sheet, which is a positive, but I still think there's frailties, and that's got to come out, because I feel against a stronger attacking team, you know, today we could have been exposed. But we take the positives, all right?
Just two things really. It's just that I think when you're on top of the game, you've got to learn possibly to take the sting out of the game. Yeah. And what I mean by that is don't panic, just get the ball down, do a little simple pass, maybe just go beyond playing their third, and when the ball comes back we can set and we can move on. But I have to say, I thought our work rate off the ball was really 100%. And I tell you what, you keep doing that. That's what we'll keep talking about. Off the ball is the most important thing. And we haven't got the ball we're defending. And I thought our work rate was really top draw. So, go and enjoy your Saturday night, okay, because I am. So, well done, let's go. Well done.
We're after a 3-0 win over Woodford Town. So, you know, what's your thoughts on the game today?
We didn't play the best, to be fair, but we had to grind it out, and our work rate was good today, so the 3-0 will take it.
Gerald, obviously you got a bit dirty in the middle of the park there. Was that tough against that special conditions?
Yeah, especially with the weather, and like, we have to adapt, and it's all about like, it gets sticky in the midfield, so you got to start dishing out tackles, and I'm in the right state, but you know, it's good. We played well, we dug deep, and you know, showed good character.
The 3 points and a clean sheet, which is something we haven't had all season. Clean sheet. You guys obviously, you know, looked take today's momentum into a big game on Wednesday against Salisbury?
Yeah, I think defensively we were much better than Saturday. I think we showed more composure and just a bit more urgency. I think that's what we've lacked, and I think today we showed a lot of urgency, character, and I think defensively and attacking, the attackers dropped back. You know, it was good. We played well. Yeah,
we made less mistakes today, which helps the confidence.
Yeah.
And Larry, from your point of view as well, you've been in and out of the team recently. Playing the attack to start today as well. How did you feel you personally played?
Yeah, I've been in and out due to injury, so it's good to get I think it was 80 minutes today under my belt. Yeah, felt good, and it felt good to lead the line and get a win.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just one final question. We have to ask about Steve's wonder goal.
Yeah.
He didn't mean it.
It was an accident.
What happened? What happened?
Please tell me you lot missed it. You didn't catch it.
No, we caught it.
That's his first goal in 5 years.
Yeah.
Thank you, boys. Cheers. Thank you.
What man of the match? Man of the match.